मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगगन रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सगगन ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचना गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So it's a very auspicious topic. So before I begin, you have to bear with me. Sorry for a second with my video. Just a moment. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Okay, so coming Sunday we have Advaita Acharya's appearance day. Such a glorious day, an amazing day to pray, glorify, and do something which is very dear to Advaita Acharya. So we thought we'll share a few words. I mean, who can glorify Sri Advaita Acharya? We see in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, who is one of the eternal associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He says that I cannot glorify him properly. The glories of Advaita Acharya are so are unlimited. How can I actually, glorify him? So this is, if Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami could not glorify, I mean, where do we stand? So it's not possible to describe. So he says that, who can describe the unlimited glories of Sri Advaita Acharya? I can only write as much I have known from the great authorities. And then Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami offers his obeisances 10 million times to the lotus feet of Sri Advaita Acharya. So your glories are, he says, your glories are as fathomless as millions of oceans and seas. Speaking of its measure is a great offense indeed. So this is the mood of Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in describing the glories of Advaita Acharya. So we cannot properly glorify him. we can only glorify what they have glorified. We can share a bit of it, and again, that is by His mercy we can do so. So before we begin, like we all of us know here in this forum, I mean almost majority, every one of us, before we chant the Hare Krishna mantra, we all chant the Panchatattva mantra every single day, right? So why do we chant this Panchatattva mantra? We know that Krishna has appeared very mercifully in Kali Yuga in the form of His holy name. That is one of the easiest ways one can access Krishna. But even after Krishna coming in this most merciful form, we find it very hard to take shelter of Krishna's holy name. I hope we agree with that, because every single morning we see that, some of us have taken a commitment of 16 rounds. Some of them may be chanting some number of rounds. Even though the holy name is so wonderful, we have heard a lot of glories of the holy name. And all the pure devotees, they are saying, I need hundreds of mouths, hundreds of ears to hear and taste Krishna's name. But because we are conditioned in this material world, we find it hard, to taste the holy name. So we always find some challenges to chant the holy name, to take shelter of the holy name. So that is why this Panchatattva mantra is very, very important. Because Panchatattva, we see that the 5 personalities, Lord Chaitanya expanded in His 5 features. And all these 5 personalities, and also is all His associates. Like we say, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, that is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself. Prabhu Nityananda, who is Lord Balaram. And Advaita, Advaita Acharya, who is, the expansion of Mahavishnu and Sadashiva. And Gadadhar Pandit, who is Srimati Radharani, and then Shivas Thakur is Narada Muni. So all these 5 personalities, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So not only them, but all the associates of Mahaprabhu. So we are praying so that we can become more attentive, we can become more meditative in chanting the holy name. So that's why we are begging for their mercy. Before we begin each round of the Hare Krishna mantra, we are begging for their mercy. So how important the Panchatattva are, or the associates of Mahaprabhu, so that by their mercy we can access the holy name, we can take shelter of the holy name, we can actually relish the holy name, we can serve the holy name. So that's why the prayers to Panchatattva are very, very important. Even though holy name is more merciful, we need their mercy to get the shelter of the holy name. So then we see the Panchatattva Advaita Acharya. So Advaita Acharya we are going to talk about today. So Advaita Acharya, he is, we will see his identity before that, his appearance. So Advaita Acharya, he appeared in a place called Nabagram in Bengal as the son of Kubera Pandit and Srimati Naba Devi, and in the year 1434. So it was on a Shukla Paksha, on the waxing moon. It is the 7th day, so that's why Saptami, 7th day is Saptami, just like we have Dasami, the 10th day. So Saptami is the 7th day, and because he appeared on the 7th day of the waxing moon, it's called the Saptami Tithi. It's called Advaita Saptami. The Advaita Acharya appeared on this Saptami Tithi. And we see that there is also, what is his identity? Who is this Advaita Acharya? If we see that Advaita Acharya, there is another verse, Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is mentioned that Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam. So the Panchatattva, they came in different features. One as a devotee himself. So the Lord came, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came as a devotee. And the Lord himself came as a devotee. And he came as his expansion as Nityananda Prabhu. and as an incarnation of Advaita Acharya, Bhaktavataram. Bhaktakyam, as a pure devotee, Srivas Thakur, and Bhakti Shakti. Who is that? That is the Shakti of Bhakti Shakti is Gadadhar Pandit. So these are the different aspects Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came. So here the incarnation, he came as a Bhakta avatar, that is Advaita Acharya. And as we know, Advaita means, here the Advaita means non-different. The one who is non-different from Hari, the Supreme Lord, is called Advaita. So Advaita Acharya is non-different from Krishna, or non-different from Mahaprabhu, non-different from Hari. How is that? Just like Vishnu is non-different non-different from Krishna, or an expansion of Krishna, but non-different from Krishna. Similarly, Advaita Acharya is also expansion of Mahaprabhu. So in that sense, he is non-different from Mahaprabhu. And then he is Acharya. Before that, sometimes he is called as a non-different from Mahavishnu, and sometimes called as non-different from Sadashiva. Shiva is, Shiva in the material world. In the material world, in the form of Shiva is called Shiva, but the same Shiva in the spiritual realm, he is called as Sadashiva. So after the Viraja river, you have the material and the spiritual world is like, the Viraja river is there in the middle. So the other side, in the spiritual planets, Lord Shiva is known as Sadashiva in Vaikuntha Loka. So Sadashiva form, so that's why he's also called as non-different from Sadashiva. And he's called as an Acharya because Acharya means a teacher, right? A great teacher. Because Advaita Acharya came for a purpose, that he came to propagate the path of pure devotional service. So because he propagated the path of pure devotional service, so he's a teacher, he's an Acharya. So that's why his name is Advaita Acharya. So Advaita, who is non-different from the Lord himself, and Acharya means a great teacher who has taught the science of Krishna consciousness. So that's why it's called Advaita Acharya. So if you go back, and when Advaita Acharya, he actually appeared before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So around 50 years before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he appeared. So then when we see that he has, though he was born in Nabagram, Bengal, at that time it was Bangladesh. Now we see that he had a house in Shantipur, which is close to, and also in Navadip he had a home. He moved to these places, and we see that time in Navadip is a place of great learning. In fact, that time there were so many Brahmanas were there. A lot of learning was going on. A lot of educational institutions. But at the same time, what was noticed was that it was more ritualistic. This is like some 500 years before. Before even Mahaprabhu appeared. Even though it was a place of knowledge, they were very proud of their learning. The devotion was not given much importance. People were just following religion, just for the sake of religion, just for name, just for fame, and even whatever worship they were doing were more ritualistic, more mechanical, and the devotional aspect was missing. And they were more focused on their materialistic life. Okay, I do this because, I will have this material gain. So more fruitive. And they used any opportunity to show off their material opulence. Like they would do a grand wedding, and if one person does a very grand wedding, the other person would think, okay, I am going to defeat him by showing something more. So then he would actually arrange something very, very very big and huge to defeat the pride of the other person. So like that, it was a competition of who has got more. So that kind of a very sense gratificatory, ritualistic completely materialistic kind of a lifestyle. So this was going on, and when Advaita Acharya saw all this, his heart was feeling great pain, because he was thinking people are completely lost in materialistic life. So he would actually hold many programs. I mean, in his own home, he would be speaking from the scriptures, discussing, Bhagavatam and various scriptures. And some of the devotees, who were like very sincere, they would come. For them, that was the only place where they could get solace, because the entire society was like completely on a rat race of materialism. So for them, Advaita Acharya's home was a complete shelter, and they would come and discuss about the Lord, and they would relish, but Advaita Acharya was deeply concerned about the general public, and he felt that the Lord himself has to come. Who else can give Krishna Prem? Who else can give his own love? Only the Lord can give his own love. So now we have no other choice. The Lord himself has to come, and I'm going to pray to him. I'm going to pray to him. And then Advaita Acharya would, every single day, he would pray to his Salagram Shila with the Ganges water and Tulasi Manjaris. And he would actually beg the Lord, to appear. He would offer various wonderful prayers and would cry, with that mood of, desperateness that you have to, my dear Lord. It's an urgent call. It's an urgent. It is not something like sometimes prayers are of different types. I'm just praying, but it's like just the words are coming, but there is no heart. Sometimes it's a quick prayer. We are rushing and going with our lifestyle, what we have nowadays today. But here we see that Advaita Acharya, his heart was full of compassion. Only when someone feels, that compassion can actually call out with that mood of prayer. So he was calling out so desperately from his heart, for the welfare of all the living entities. With full of devotion, he was calling out for the appearance of, the Lord, Supreme Lord. And as we all know that, but before even we go, so here, one of the things we see, how deep was Advaita Acharya's call, for the Lord's appearance. So this is of course he's the Supreme Lord himself, but also the Lord comes, as a teacher. He teaches a lot of things. So we see when Krishna appeared in this world, he performed a lot of leelas. When Lord Ram came, he performed a lot of leelas. When Mahaprabhu came, and even all his associates, they have performed leelas not only to attract the conditioned souls towards his lotus feet, they also actually give us a lot of real lessons, life lessons, to learn and to refine ourselves, so that we can develop pure devotional service in this lifetime and go back home, back to God. So the Lord, when we read, it is not just the pastime, but there are so many things to learn from the pastime. Reading pastime is one thing, reading from the pastime is also one thing. And there are lots and lots of things one can learn from each pastime of the Lord. And some of the striking things which we are sharing here is that the prayer, the importance, how the prayer should be from the heart. And here we see the compassionate heart of Advaita Acharya. So, this is not a comparison, but just to understand that, we all do prayers, right? We pray for our own self, our own spiritual life. We are praying for our families, praying for our community, praying for the devotees, especially the leaders. We pray that, there are many people. We are going for book distribution. You are getting some new people showing interest, and we want them to connect to Krishna consciousness. We offer prayers, or they have to come and get connected. But how serious and sincere are our prayers? How serious and sincere are our prayers? And here we see Advaita Acharya's call. His call was so desperate that, all these people are suffering so much, my dear Lord. I'm just not able to tolerate it. Please, deliver them. So much love, so much compassion for them. So, when we see Advaita Acharya's, prayers, his compassion, his heart going out for all the conditioned souls. And then when we see all our Acharyas in our line, we see that all of the six Goswamis, all the Guru Parampara and Srila Prabhupada, how they were crying and praying to the Lord for the benefit of the conditioned souls. Literally praying and crying, my dear Lord, please deliver the souls. And because Srila Prabhupada prayed and cried, and in fact Prabhupada also came to Shantipur. The pujaris in Shantipur later told that how Srila Prabhupada, before he even began his journey, he came there and he was crying and praying. And then we also know how he was in Radha Damodar temple praying to Srila Rupa Goswami. So we see Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he was chanting 9 billion names and chanting the holy name, crying, putting all the petition so that all these conditioned souls can be dealt. Then he came, completed his tapasya, the austerity, and then he established the 64 Gaudiya Maths. So all our acharyas, their heart was filled with compassion. They felt so deeply for others. This is something, that we are praying, we are hearing, praying, and requesting the Lord to develop that, a drop of that kindness or compassion, the mood of daya for others, jiva daya. That's what Bhaktivinoda Thakur talked about. Namaruchi, jiva daya, Vaishnava Seva. These are the three important elements a devotee has to beg for, pray for, and aspire for. So Jiva Daya, feeling for others. So this is something which we can actually pray on the day of Advaita Saptami. We beg to Advaita Acharya to develop a drop of that compassion for others. So in that mood of compassion, if we pray for others, all those people whom we are praying for, all those contacts which we are getting out, surely they will manifest. Surely their heart will be touched and they will be connected to Krishna consciousness. When that is done with that kind of kindness, that kind of compassion, that kind of desperate mood of we want to really connect them. So this is something we can relate with, because most of us here are part of this community where we have taken, rather I would say, we have been blessed with this service of connecting people to Krishna consciousness. What a glorious service it is. We don't really deserve that service, but we have been mercifully given this service. It is a privilege we have got, to connect people to this glorious moment of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So how our heart should be. I'm not doing this because for name. I'm not doing this. I don't want to do this for name. Though the conditioned heart may look for all those sense gratifying things. But we beg at the feet of Sri Advaita Acharya, I don't want to do this for name. I don't want to do this for any fame and glory or for any personal motives. You please, bestow your mercy upon us that we can do this service with that pure intention, with that real feeling of mood of benefiting these people, so that their lives can also become happy. Because people in this material world are really suffering. When we go out, we understand. When we stop each and every person, their stories are not happy stories. They are feeling so much loneliness. They are going through so much difficulties, addictions, so much addictions. They are struggling so much, going for rehab. But again, the senses are so strong that, you fall prey constantly, repeatedly, So this is what happening in the material world. Everyone is struggling, going through a lot of difficulties, struggling with own senses. So much is going on. And how do we help them? By connecting them with Srila Prabhupada's books and connecting them with the community of devotees so that they can continue this process of Krishna consciousness and come out of all these, things which are causing great suffering. and then they can actually relish this beautiful process of Krishna consciousness, which is ultimate perfection of life. So we have this great responsibility. And so that means we have to go more deeper into our heart, feel this, the suffering of others, and we pray with that desperate mood to connect them on every single day, at least every single week. So it is one of the responsibilities. If you see, I was just reading that it was mentioned that they made a survey, statistics about the churches. They found that even in the churches, the church where they made a lot of prayers for their followers and for their members, that was the church which was most successful in the sense they had more people, they were more flourishing. So even there we see that prayer plays a very important role. And in the Bhakti Vriksha also we see that one of the responsibilities we see is that of a servant leader is prayer. The leader who prays for the mercy, for his own self to be a true servant, and then prays for every single devotee in the group, and pray for all more people to be connected and getting an opportunity to serve them, and that's where the group which flourishes. So that means it's a very important responsibility, and we see Advaita Acharyas as an Acharya showing by his own example, and his call, the Lord could not resist. He has to come down, and that's where the appearance of Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu many times repeatedly told his associates, I have come here because of the request of Advaita Acharya. So the Lord many times told his associates that it is because of Advaita Acharya's call that he's here. So this is one of the very important thing we can actually try to pray and see that how we can become a very useful, a sincere and a useful instrument in connecting many souls cause suffering in this world to the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to the glorious mission of Srila Prabhupada. So, this is one thing which, so how Mahaprabhu appeared. And then, and when actually Mahaprabhu appeared, Advaita Acharya and Haridas Thakur was feeling great ecstasy, and they were dancing in joy. Even before, they didn't even know that, in a sense, that they didn't know that Mahaprabhu has appeared somewhere, but the same day they were actually dancing in great ecstasy. So, and also we see that so Haridas Thakur was there before, and then there was a point of time even before Mahaprabhu's appearance, see Madhavendra Puri, he was on his journey. He, as we all know, Madhavendra Puri was worshipping the Gopal deity. And this Gopal deity, he said that in Vrindavan, he said, I'm feeling very hot, you please go and get some sandalwood. So Madhavendra Puri was coming down, on his way to Jagannath Puri. And then at that time he actually stopped at Shantipur, because he did not come through the main roads, because there were many Mayavadi sannyasis, and Madhavendra Puri was a Vaishnava sannyasi. He didn't want to meet them because they were very as Mayavadi Krishna Aparadi, they offend the Lord. So he didn't want to see the Lord, he didn't want to see those impersonalists. And also there were many people who are very materialistic, so when they see a sannyasi when they see a sannyasi, they won't ask for devotion, rather they ask for all materialistic things. So he avoided the main roads, and then he came via the route of Ganga. So on the route of Ganga, when he came, he actually touched the ashram or the house of Advaita Acharya. And when Advaita Acharya saw Madhavendra Puri, Vaishnava sannyasi, because those days it was very rare to see a Vaishnava sannyasi. And when Advaita Acharya saw, he became very happy, and he served him very nicely. And they both were discussing about Krishna Katha. And then he decided that Madhavendra, he requested Madhavendra Puri to stay for a few more days, and then they were relishing the pastimes of Krishna. And then he thought, I need to get initiation from Madhavendra Puri. So Madhavendra Puri initiated Advaita Acharya. So basically, as we know, Madhavendra Puri's disciple is Ishvara Puri, who became the spiritual master of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in that sense, Ishvara Puri and Advaita Acharya are god brothers. That means Mahaprabhu's guru, Ishvara Puri, and Advaita Acharyas are god brothers. So Mahaprabhu would always give so much respect for Advaita Acharya. But Advaita Acharya would always consider himself as a servant. This is another very important thing which we see in Advaita Acharya's pastime, of how he was always keeping his mood as a servant of the Lord. That was something very, very wonderful pastime. So many wonderful pastimes. We won't be able to discuss everything, but a few of how he always wanted to be a servant. And Mahaprabhu would never accept him as a servant. He would always see him, give him all the respect, and Advaita Acharya would feel very embarrassed when Mahaprabhu would give him respect. So in that way there was a very beautiful pastimes were happening. And then we see that there was a time when Mahaprabhu sent one of his associates to go to Advaita Acharya's house and to say that you tell Advaita Gosai that the Lord to whom you are praying for is now appeared here. He has already appeared. And then and he's coming to meet him. So then Advaita Acharya would say, yes, I understand. But he knew, but he wanted to, he was thinking in his heart, if he is my Lord, then I'm going to hide myself, and he has to find me, and then he has to put his lotus feet on my head, then I would accept him. So Advaita Acharya went into a village and he was hiding himself. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came to that village and he started calling Nada, Nada. It's a nickname for Advaita Acharya. And he was calling him, and then he came to the place where Advaita Acharya was hiding, and then he called his name, and then he put his lotus feet on Advaita Acharya. It was very rare. In few occasions we see Mahaprabhu did it, because he wanted to, of course, make Advaita Acharya happy, that he has appeared. But in many places he won't agree to keep his lotus feet, or to touch Advaita Acharya, to touch his feet. And so in that way Advaita Acharya became so happy to see Mahaprabhu, And then we see that in another place it happened that once, here the pastimes may be not a chronological order, but we are connecting with the various themes. So here once what happened was, Advaita Acharya, once Mahaprabhu was dancing in ecstasy and he fell in the ground. Then Advaita Acharya took that opportunity and touched Mahaprabhu's lotus feet, and he touched his dust, and he was in great ecstasy dancing. And when Mahaprabhu came back, he realized that Advaita Acharya has touched his lotus feet, and he was very unhappy, and he said that, oh, someone has stolen all my bhakti, now I am devoid of Krishna bhakti. What is the use of living in this world? So then Mahaprabhu said like that, and then he ran out with great ecstasy, and no one could stop him except Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu ran behind, and they both ran behind. I mean, he ran behind Mahaprabhu, and then Mahaprabhu jumped into Ganga, and Nityananda Prabhu also jumped into Ganga. And all the devotees are feeling so morose, so sad. Oh, what happened that, Mahaprabhu has left us all? And then they couldn't really see Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. They just, after a kilometer far, then Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, they swam across the river and then came the other side to Nandanacharya's house. And then he was staying there, and then later called Srivas Thakur, what is happening there? And then they said that all the devotees are in great lamentation, especially Advaita Gosai. He's crying and crying non-stop. He's crying, he's not eating, he's not sleeping. My dear Lord, his condition is so pitiful, please do something. So then they said that send a message that we are here. But this is a lesson. He should not touch our lotus feet. He should not touch our feet again. So in that way, Mahaprabhu was like, was doing this Leela with Advaita Acharya. And Advaita Acharya always wanted to be in that mood of, he always remained in the mood of a servant. And Mahaprabhu was not able to appreciate that, because he wanted to follow even socially that customs, and also Advaita Acharya is as an elderly personality, he wanted to give, and also the god brother of his guru, so he wanted to give that respect to Advaita Acharya. And then we see that so then we see another beautiful pastime also. So this is a mood of being a servant is the greatest joy conditions. I mean, a soul can actually feel a complete joy or satisfaction only when it is in his when the soul is in his constitutional position as a servant and not to be served. And that's what we see throughout, whether we read Bhagavad Gita, we read Srimad Bhagavatam, we read Chaitanya Charitamrita, coming to the point again and again that that we have to we have to remind ourselves to be in our original constitutional position as servant of Krishna, because in the conditioned state we like to be served, we want to be the masters, we want to enjoy. And when that doesn't happen, we get very upset, because we are in the mood of a master. We feel that if someone is not giving us respect, we get upset. When we are not getting due recognition, we get upset. When we are not served, we get respect. When people are not glorifying, we get upset. Why? Because in the conditioned state, we feel we want to be enjoyed. Why I was not given the recognition? Why my name was not called? Why nobody is talking about me? Why someone spoke bad about me? Why I was not given that proper respect? So these things are coming into the mind. Why? Because I feel that I deserve respect. I am qualified. I am worthy. That is why these kind of disappointments come. But the moment a person thinks I am a servant, I'm a servant of the Lord. So what qualification do I have got? So whatever I'm getting is is a mercy. If anyone is giving me respect, anyone is giving me recognition, or any good name I am getting, it is purely mercy. I don't really deserve that. But I'm still getting it. But actually the credit goes to the Guru, to the Vaishnavas, to Krishna. So if someone is throwing some bad things at me, then what a true person, a true servant will think, oh, I deserve it because I am that person only. That's what you see all the acharyas, their mood, because they are in that constitutional position all the time. They consider themselves, even though they are liberated souls, they consider themselves as servants of Krishna, and that's why they think in that mood. But we cannot artificially imitate. But it is a point here to understand that how deeply I am in the mood of a master. That's why even a leader is called as a servant leader, not a master leader. It's a servant leader. To just remind ourselves that I'm not actually a leader. I'm actually a servant first. And I've been given the service to lead. I'm not a leader by my caliber, but I am actually a servant, but I've been given this opportunity to lead. So it's a servant leader. So it is a constant reminder, which we, as a conditioned soul, we have to constantly remind ourselves. That's why by hearing constantly, by reading constantly, by contemplating on that, by reflecting on that, then we actually, and praying, so slowly one can at least understand how deeply one is rooted in the mood of a master, and how not even rare, very rare, that even I think I'm actually a servant. But we see that many times when we write an email, write a message, very casually we write your servant, but we how much I really, you know, mean by it. So these are some of the things to understand. So this is one of the powerful thing. We see how Advaita Acharya considered himself all the time as servant, and how it is important. Only when we actually truly recognize ourselves as a servant, we can escape all this material expectations of respect, honor, this, that, all this, in a sense, like unnecessary disagreements with devotees, unnecessary conflicts with devotees. All these things can be avoided when we actually develop or cultivate the mood of servant. So this is a very important message, or very important takeaway we see from Advaita Acharya's pastime throughout. And then we see this is a very powerful pastime as well. When Mahaprabhu came to Shiva's Thakur's house, and he was actually 21 hours of ecstatic kirtan and arati ceremony, everything was going on. And Mahaprabhu called him, and in a very few occasions Mahaprabhu actually showed who he was. And but other times he would also consider himself as a servant all the time. And that time he was actually giving benedictions to many devotees, like Kolavesha Sridhar, the banana salesperson. He was given Krishna Prem, and the Lord was so pleased with his devotion, and in that way he was actually benedicting many devotees. So that time he was actually giving benedictions to everyone, but he said that Mother Sachi cannot get Krishna Prem, and then everyone was stunned. How is it possible? Mother Sachi is the mother of the Supreme Lord, Mahaprabhu. So much love, so much devotion she has got. How come she can't get Krishna Prem? Then Mahaprabhu said that she has committed a great offense, the lotus feet of Shri Advaita Gosai. So unless she gets relieved from that offense, she cannot get Krishna Prem. And then what was the offense, by the way, if you actually see the pastime? Actually, when we saw this pastime, was when Mahaprabhu was like a toddler. That time his brother Vishwarup, so he would go to Advaita Acharya's Bhagavatam class, and he would sit and hear very attentively, and and he will be completely absorbed in Krishna Leela. And then what happened? Mother Sachi has to send little Nimai, and little Nimai would come and then call Vishwarupa. Okay, now time for breakfast. Mother is calling you, and then she would bring Vishwarupa back home. And so like that it was going on, and then Vishwarupa got completely absorbed in the pastimes of the Lord, and then he decided to take sannyas, and then he left home. So Mother Sachi got disturbed that at some point of time Vishwarupa left home, and she lost her husband also. Jagannath Mishra left to in a spiritual world. So now only Nimai is there. And so she was so deeply concerned that if Nimai also, and then she was thinking in her mind. She didn't even verbalize. She didn't even tell anybody. She just thought in the mind that Vishwarupa got sannyas and left the world because of Advaita, because of hearing from Advaita Acharya, being with him in his association, that he has left home and took sannyas. So she felt a bit, kind of a kind of a feeling of hurt, a feeling of kind of that it is because of Advaita Acharya that it has happened. That kind of a mood in the heart. She just thought, just a thought. Not even she told anybody. As a mother, she felt that Vishwarupa left. So that kind of a feeling she had. And Mahaprabhu said that was not correct. It was not even a verbal offense. It was not even a verbal offense. It was just a thought in the mind. But then Mahaprabhu said that she cannot get Krishna Prem. And then that was the time that there was an ecstatic, the Kirtan was happening, and Advaita Acharya was also dancing in great ecstasy, and he fell onto the ground. He was rolling in ecstasy and he fell unconscious. So then Mahaprabhu called Sachi Mata, you please come immediately, because Advaita Acharya would never accept. Actually, what happened? When Mahaprabhu said like that, Advaita Acharya said, Mother Sachi has not done any aparad, any offense. Any offense she has not done. How can you say that? She is a very great personality. Her devotion is matchless. So Advaita Acharya was glorifying Sachi Mata. And in great ecstasy, he fell down. And then, Mahaprabhu said, Advaita Acharya would never accept, that you have committed an offense, and he is never going to forgive, because he has not even accepted that as an offense. How he is going to forgive? So that means it's very difficult. Unless you atone for this offense, you can't get Krishna Prem. So now he is unconscious. You take the dust from his feet, and in that way the offense will be the offense will go off. So then Mother Sachi took the opportunity and she took the dust from Advaita Acharya, because he was unconscious. So he took, and now Mother Sachi is freed from all the offense, and Mahaprabhu said she can get Krishna Prem. So it's a very powerful, when we hear this story, I was thinking, where do I stand? Krishna, what hope is there? So, so we do, offenses, so many offenses unknowingly. Knowingly, I don't know how much, but unknowingly so much. So, where is the chance of getting Krishna Prem? So that means here is not to take in a positive spirit, that one is, of course, we have to become more careful in our dealings with devotees. Sometimes it's very difficult because of our conditioned nature. Naturally, we feel disturbed, upset for various reasons. So here it is a reminder, a strong reminder, a powerful reminder, that how we need to be so careful, because one side we are growing the devotional creeper very, after many births, Brahmanda Brahmite Kone Kore Bhagyavan Jiva Guru Krishna Prasade by Bhakti Lata Bij. After wandering in many births, finally by the mercy of Guru we are getting this seed of bhakti, and we are trying to grow that very carefully. And then what happens? The offenses comes, and the Vaishnava aparad is a mad elephant offense, that we may have grown it with so much care, so much austerity, so much tapasya, and one Vaishnava aparad pulls us down. It's like a snake and ladder. You see the snake and ladder game we all have played. There is a ladder is there, we are going up and up like that, and then there is a snake comes, and we are coming down. So this Vaishnava aparad is like that. So it is something for us to be very, very cautious and conscious. And we have to depend on the mercy of the Lord. How can we depend on our senses? Our senses are like, oh my God, it's like a serpent, So that's why it is like, we have to beg for the mercy. And then we have to be careful also. So hearing more and more helps us to become more careful. And whatever has already happened, what can we do with that? So one of the things we can do is, We can go and ask forgiveness to those devotees whom we know we have offended. And sometime if we can take the dust from the feet of the devotees and take that, that is also considered this. And then we try not to repeat. We beg to the Lord that may I get that intelligence, may I get that spiritual intelligence and spiritual strength, that I don't commit Vaishnava Aparad. And how this mood of a servant complements here, that when we try to keep ourselves in the mood of servant, then there is no question of much aparads coming, because already it is a more humble and submissive mood. So even if someone is retaliating with so many different things, we understand, okay, maybe I've done some karma in my past life. This person has come in my life and is causing all the, all pains and sufferings in my life. So the karma is coming through this devotee. And this karma is coming through this devotee that I'm going through. I mean, I'm not saying that this is something that, so if something really bad is happening, we have to tolerate. No, that's not the question here. Of course, we can share, rather than sharing to the whole world, we can share to our mentors, to our leaders, and see how we can protect ourselves from such kind of dangers. And at the same time, we are not getting into this offensive cycle, and also go forward in our spiritual life in a proper perspective. So it's important. So rather than talking about the issue with so many, we talk with that respective person and clarify, or we talk to one authority or one mentor or one guide and take help and go forward. So in that way, we are not creating much offense. Otherwise, going and talking 10 different person about that one person, we don't even know, because from my eyes, that person has done a mistake. But we don't know actually what has happened. And I'm going and telling to 10 other devotees, you know what? And then the 10th devotee, what has become something else, like a Chinese whisper, some nose, some face, and probably if that was true, just imagine what kind of a detrimental thing we have done about a devotee. So it is better to not spill out, and rather actually keep it within, and then talk to the respective person and just move on. Otherwise, holding on to those things also affect us a lot. Certainly we all have, we are facing our karmas, good, bad, everything. And because we are living in a community of devotees, especially this I heard from one of the senior devotees, that sometimes we get upset when something is happening, some devotees coming and hurting us, or unknowingly or knowingly, or whatever way. And then we think, why this is happening to me? Then we have to understand one point, that we are now not in a bigger material circle. That, if we have to go through a karma, it has to come through someone. There should be a via media by which the karma, gets acted on. So, because we are not in a circle of great material, people around, then it has to come through one of the devotees in a devotee community. So then we understand that if it is something very small, very not something which is going to destroy my life in some way, we need to be tolerant and become patient, pray to the Lord, just move on. If it is something detrimental to my own devotional life, or to someone's devotional life, or it's going to cause a danger to the community, or something alarming, certainly it needs to be discussed, and then see what actions to be taken in a proper spirit, and then we just continue with our devotional life. So in that way, even within the community, there is a nice mood prevailing, that if at all we are talking about a devotee, let be an appreciation about a devotee, rather than talking bad about a devotee. If it is a bad about a devotee, talk to a mentor, talk to a leader, so that they can see in the right spirit, and then it can be actioned. But if at all we are talking, let's speak good about the devotees, because when we speak good qualities of others, we develop those good qualities. If we meditate on the bad qualities or undesirable behavior of someone, then what happens? What we meditate only, we will meditate on that, and then one day we will be stunned. Oh, actually I am doing that, or I am speaking the same thing. That is the influence happens, you know. So it is better not to meditate on undesirable things, better to meditate on positive things, qualities of the devotees, so that we can develop those wonderful qualities, Vaishnava qualities, and can serve the Lord. And whenever there is an opportunity, we of meeting a devotees, and we can actually, if I've committed something, we can ask for a sorry. It doesn't cost much, but we will be benefited. Krishna, Krishna is in our heart as Paramatma. We can't cheat him. He's watching every single thing what we do, what we think. I may cheat, nobody is saying, so I can do something, or what I'm thinking, nobody's watching. Yes, Paramatma is watching. He is watching what I've been thinking about that devotee, this devotee, every devotee. So it is good to be more pure in our intention. The more we are pure in our intention, then what happens? The more we can actually touch the hearts of others. The more we will be powerful in our preaching. So Achar and Prachar. So that is what is Advaita Acharya as an Acharya, the teacher. Like we see Srila Prabhupada as an Acharya. The Achar and the Prachar. So we have to work a lot internally. The more we internally do things, it manifests very beautifully. We can touch many souls to Krishna consciousness, and that's what we want to do, right? That's what all our acharyas wanted us to do. They want us to do, and if you see in the devotee's prayer itself is not even going back. Okay, I'm not talking of that caliber of prayer, but I'm saying that we all want, Prabhupada wanted, Mahaprabhu wanted, in every town and village my name will be sung. He wanted Yare Deko Tare Kaho Krishna Upadesh. He wanted everyone to become Guru and give this message to everyone, And Srila Prabhupada wanted every one of us become a gardener, be a gardener. And Srila Prabhupada empowered all his disciples, and he asked every one of us to be part of this mission. And all of the spiritual masters, they also are constantly requesting us to do this, so we can do a lot being in this mission. And if we want to do that, Mahaprabhu is someone who likes straightforward, simple. No, he says that, in the Vaishnava Ke book, he says that all this duplicity, all these negative elements needs to be erased. So we have to constantly work on our inner self as a sadhaka, because as a sadhaka we are not perfection that we will do in that mode, but we are constantly making an effort to do pure devotional service. That's our aspiration. And who else can award this than Advaita Acharya? So Advaita Acharya can give us this pure devotional service. So I will end with this one, this thing from Chaitanya Bhagavat. Many pastimes are there, I couldn't finish. One last thing I will say also is that he says that who in this world knows you perfectly? This is Mahaprabhu telling to Advaita Acharya. This is also a beautiful pastime. I couldn't talk about this today. But he says that who in this world knows you perfectly? Only by your mercy can one get the fruit of devotional service. Tumi kripa karile se bhakti phala dare. So all the acharyas also, we see Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karo More. In that Aha Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Kripa Balakana Karami Borodoki Doya Koro Sitapati Advaita Gosai. So if Lord Advaita Gosai is pleased, then we can get the mercy of Nitai and Lord Gauranga. So to get Lord Gauranga's and Nityananda's mercy, we need Advaita Acharya's mercy. And I'll say with this one connecting thing, as we say Madhavendra Puri, this is a very famous pastime in Shantipur. It's a big Shantipur festival which happens every year, and we see that how now ISKCON Mayapur holds the Shantipur festival. very, very wonderfully, and many thousands of plates of prasadam are served on the day, because that's the tithi of Madhavendra Puri, the spiritual master of Advaita Acharya, and Advaita Acharya held this festival on those days, and how he was doing it was like unimaginable. I know that full pastime is given in Chaitanya Bhagavat, mind blowing. In that, generally when we actually cook for a big festivals, like we may keep it in a very, very big, in a big containers, big this thing and all that. But here, Advaita Acharya, it's like one house or one cottage full of one item, another cottage is full of vegetables, another cottage is full of fruits, like it is like a whole city of prasadam. So it was, then Mahaprabhu said, who can do this? It's not humanly possible. You are none other than Lord Shiva. So like that he glorifies, because he's anyway incarnation of Lord Shiva and the expansion of Mahavishnu. So Advaita Acharya celebrated this ceremony in a very, very grand way, cooking, and every devotee was taking some seva. And you know what Nityananda Prabhu took the role? Nityananda Prabhu took the role of washing the feet of all the visiting Vaishnavas. Unimaginable. The role he took voluntarily was that I want to wash the feet of all the visiting devotees. And the mood of a servant of servant of servant. Nityananda Prabhu is teaching us. Advaita Acharya, he was engaged, his wife and all the devotees were engaged in loads of, someone is making garlands, someone is cooking, someone is welcoming the devotees, someone is giving a talk, someone is doing kirtan. So it's an amazing pastime. How as a disciple he served his guru. How as a servant he served the master Mahaprabhu. How as a disciple he served his guru. How as a devotee he was so compassionate, to all the living entities. So all this we can actually learn from Advaita Acharya's pastimes. So many pastimes are there. I wrote down so much, but I couldn't really finish. But at least some important things I could share today. So this is important takeaways which we can, on the auspicious appearance day of Advaita Acharya, there is an Advaita Ashtakam by Sarabham Bhattacharya, very beautiful prayer. We can actually read that prayer, and then also we can pray how we can actually truly become a servant of the Lord, a servant of our spiritual master, and a servant of the Vaishnavas, and servant of all the living entities. So Advaita Acharya did everything, so be in the mood of a servant. How we can actually do this? So we can serve the Lord in that appropriate mood, serve our spiritual teachers, spiritual masters, Srila Prabhupada, in that mood of a servant, and then serve the Vaishnavas in that spirit, and all the souls, living entities, conditioned souls and suffering souls in this world, how I can help as a servant. So I end here, and if you have any questions or comments, a couple of words, then we'll end. Shri Advaita Gosai ki jai, Shri Advaita Acharya ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So any questions or anything would you like to add? Hare Krishna devotees. Are you there?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat
Hare
Pranam,
Krishna.
which is really very inspiring lessons you have taught us, Mataji, today. After a long time, we heard about Advaita Acharya, which is really, really very inspiring, which we can learn so many things from Advaita Acharya, how we can be very tolerant and prayerful mood and everything, Mataji, with so many nice pastimes.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much, Mataji.
Thank you for sharing those. Yes, yeah, really, so much is there. I mean, it's really amazing. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami also, if we see in Chaitanya Charitamrita and Adi Leela, the glories of Advaita Acharya is there. We can read that when we get an opportunity before Advaita Saptami. We have a week, so we can read that. And then, of course, Chaitanya Bhagavat has got a lot of pastimes of Advaita Acharya in the various khandas, various pastimes. Yeah, so amazing. Yeah,
I
thank
still
you.
remember Mataji one more point. I have no idea about this Advaita Ashtakam, right?
Ah,
First time you taught me how to sing Advaita Ashtakam. I still remember 2 years ago, I think so. Which is
yes.
very nice as well. Yeah.
His Holiness Bhakti Maharaj sings so sweetly.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. You
yeah,
played that too. Yes,
yeah.
yes.
So it is very nice. We can all of us can in a YouTube we can play because the lyrics are also there, so we can put Maharaj's song singing, and then we can follow and learn as well. It's very. I mean, he sings with such so deep devotion, so very heart touching. It's a very beautiful prayer. Yeah. Yes. Anything else? Also, this I think if I'm right, it is it Friday or Saturday? Friday, I guess. Yeah, Friday is Vasanta Panchami, and it is also a day where so many Vaishnava Acharyas appearance and disappearance days are coming. I mean, we didn't have time to touch on all of those personalities, but I think of 3, 4 personalities, appearance, disappearance, like that, coming on the Friday, Vasanta Panchami. So these are some of the things we should actually meditate on, because appearance day of the Lord, appearance day of His associates, they are already very merciful, of course. On their appearance day, they are even more merciful. So we should get this opportunity to glorify them, know more about them, and offer prayers to them. So unless we know about them, we can't offer prayers with that spirit. That's why knowledge helps to actually go deep. Whether it is anything we want to do, if I know, then I can do with that emotion. If I don't have that, if I have not heard, I can't get that devotional emotion to offer the prayers. It will be more mechanical or more. It's like just as a duty bound. But when we actually hear, then some devotional emotion awakens, and in that mood and feeling when we offer, that is very very powerful. That is why knowledge is important. Transcendental knowledge, spiritual knowledge is important. Without spiritual knowledge, it is more of a sentiment, and that cannot be done with heart. Sentiment means it is more from the mind platform. So more from the mind platform is like sometimes it's like this, like that. It's not from, but when with the knowledge we do, it comes from the heart, and that's more powerful, and that touches the heart of the devotees, anyone for that matter. When we do anything from the heart, if we do from the mind and intellect, it's not going to touch anybody. So yeah, so for that we need that knowledge. Yes. Okay, so if no other questions, then we will end here, or um, I'll just try to see that the darshan and here. Is there any other announcements or anything there, Prabhu? Ranjani, my Prabhu. Okay, so let me go and then Hare Krishna devotees, can you see the darshan?
Yes,
Yes,
Mataji, we
Mataji.
can.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, okay. Hare Krishna. Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani Sudarshan Chakra ki jai. Shashi
Jai.
Gauri
Jai.
Nandal ki jai.
Jai.
Panchatattva ki jai.
Jai.
Shri Advaita Acharya ki
Jai.
jai. Yeah, jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Hari Bol. Thank you so much. And advanced Advaita Acharya's appearance day, and a happy Advaita Saptami. And then we will meet next week. Next week we are praying and hoping we can talk about Sri Nityananda Prabhu, because the following week is Nityananda Prabhu's appearance day. So we look forward to discuss with all together. Yeah, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji.
Krishna.
Hari Bol.
Thank you. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna
Hare
Mataji,
Krishna,
Dr. Pranam,
Mataji.
Hari
Thank
Bol,
you.
Hare
And
Krishna devotees, Dr. Pranam.